Let's give an update on Bitcoin, see what's going on. When looking at the 2-hour time frame, things are unfolding pretty quickly over here. We all know that after reaching the all-time high over in the first week of January, around 42,000 over here, we have since then had a big sell-off over here. The sell-off was a 28% sell-off, taking us into this trendline support over here that started establishing itself at the beginning of December. Nice angle over here, very healthy market. You could see the pattern that is forming right here is this triangle pattern. By the way, if you're not familiar, do you remember back in the S&P 500 around the election time in November? It was putting in a similar pattern over here. You could see that over here. It's the exact same pattern that's being put in now on Bitcoin. This one broke out to the upside. After breaking out to the upside, it retested it, confirmed it, and then since then, the S&P has gone off to make new all-time highs. What is Bitcoin doing? Is Bitcoin going to break out here to the upside? It is in a bull market. Everything is going for Bitcoin that we would lead us to believe we're going to break out to the upside. Anything could happen though. Let's monitor it. If we pick up where we left off. By the way, this is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're not, welcome back. And if you are not new here, go ahead and please smash that like button. As we get going over here, it really helps the channel. You can see this trend line over here. We started tracking this, looking for the break of this near-term resistance at 35,000. Right over here, you could see that little bit of line of resistance I put over there. We then cloned this line, this trend line, and had it going as far as over here. One was over here, the other was over there. I'm not going to leave them there right now. I said we needed to break 35,000 and then clear through the resistance. And then at that point, I expected we were going to come right into this area around 40,000. Now at that point, this trend line wasn't there. We were just looking at this right here. This was an area that we were looking. Of course, we could have gone on to make new all-time highs and then started price discovery continuing higher. But the expectation was that into the supply, we would back off a little bit. That's what's occurred. This morning, we were tracking. Now, by the way, I could go ahead and put this trend line in here. It's as clear as day once we have the 2 touches. Some people think you need 3 touches. Would this be 3 touches? 1, 2, 3. That's fine. I could do trend lines. I do trend lines. I draw them in after only 2 touches. Now, what else are we looking at over here? Is trend line, technical analysis, is it objective or is it subjective? It's an art. It's absolutely subjective. It's an art. Now, it's an art that has a form to it. Unquestionably, there are tenets of technical analysis that take place. You have to respect them and honor them. The only reason you do that is because they work. Okay, now, what are we looking at? Then we were looking at this descending channel that was forming over here this morning. We broke down out of it, and then we were seeing if we would hold this support over here, this support at 36,000. We said that if we didn't hold that, we were going to come down and test 35,000, and that we really wanted to hold 35,000 because that's where this whole breakout started from, right over here. We said once we break out of this trend line and above 35,000, that's the break. You could see so far we've come in right now and we're retesting that area and holding successfully. We wicked under it a couple of times, but even here on the 2-hour, you can see each close was above that level over there. That's at $35,000. And now we are coming up, bouncing back up. And where are we? That leaves us in a range within, we're looking at being consolidating in this triangle over here, the outer triangle, right? So as long as we stay within it, whether it's to the upside or downside, this is a bullish pattern, or I expect it to be a bullish pattern over here after Bitcoin has put on this massive move. Even in 2021 alone, it was just back over here in December, the middle of December, that Bitcoin was able to take out $20,000. January 1st, Bitcoin trading at $30,000, and it was a quick move into $40,000 on Bitcoin. So now that we're consolidating, very, very healthy price action. All right, let's take this a little further. As long as we're within this triangle, it's very bullish behavior. We like that. However, if price lost 35,000 or loses it, that's a much bigger move all the way down into this trendline resistance at 32,500. That would be after experiencing, Bitcoin is down, let's see, 6.5% right now on the session. It was down as far as 12% earlier in the session. Keep in mind, Bitcoin is up 30% since just a few days ago. So the volatility is here. This is why Bitcoin is the bull of all bulls, because it bucks and it's wild, and you got to do your best to stay on. Now, if we break down over here from 35,000 into the support, that's another 7.5 drawdown. Pretty significant. Where expectations are, that holds. Expectations are that holds. Even better if we hold 35,000 and come into that resistance again. Is this a trade you could think about taking if you were looking to trade on a short time frame? Let's go ahead and clean this up, and now we're going to move forward. What happens next? Is this a trade that you could take over here? Right? You could see once we cleared back above this 36,000 resistance now after going ahead, you see on 2 hour, boom, 2 touches, 3rd touch over it, right? Is this a trade you want to take into that resistance? If you're a short-term minded trader this weekend, this is what we're watching for right now, but you would have to have a tight stop loss in here and honor that stop loss, because just because we're looking at holding this trend line resistance down over here around 32,500 does not mean that we will. And if price breaks down from over there, it's unlikely that we hold the resistance over here where we've had, look at this, we've had this touch of support, twice touched that support. It could hold again, but we could also break, and I think we come down to $28,000. Pretty strong support down there. I would expect that to hold. That would also, by the way, well, let me go ahead and, well, let me see. When I say that also, let me see. I want to go ahead and clone that line. That doesn't look like a cloned line. Let me go ahead and drop that. Let me go ahead and clone that this time. And then let me move this down over here really quick. I'm focused in on off this touch over here, and then you could see that was formed to support. Does it line up over here? Not really. Not really at all. I feel like I'm kind of making the case for that if I try to put that in there. Is that what we're going to wind up looking at? If we break this trend line, will this area of support, let me clean this up a little bit so that I could see it a little bit better, is one possible scenario over here if we break below this trend line that we come in and we start putting in this downward sloping channel over here. Right? You could see what that would look like over there. Is there anything else? We've had 2, 3 touches. Here's 1, 2, 3 wicks down into that area over here. It's around 30,000, the whole number. Possibly. Just playing it out in my head right now with you. Now let's talk about the upside over here. Would someone be looking to enter the trade right now over here as we trade back above 36 into that resistance? Look, it's very clear, and this is probably the safest trade on Bitcoin, is once we break out above this trend line over here and the next leg up starts. Because from here, the break of this trend line to the all-time highs is a quick move on Bitcoin. Once Bitcoin starts printing new all-time highs, we're talking about price discovery once again. We're talking about serious FOMO as people, and the Bitcoin supply is definitely scarce right now, and people are definitely interested. Now, whether that's institutions, family offices, there's a lot of people out there who are trying to compete for this scarce asset. That's why you're seeing Bitcoin starting to shoot up over here in this bull market, and it's really just getting started. That's what we're watching out for right now. I'll update you further as this unfolds over the weekend. Everyone, enjoy your day, and I'll talk to you later.